Imagine two massive continents smashing together under the Indian Ocean, bending the earth like plasticine and leaving behind a scar that would one day become a crucial maritime choke point. How did this seaway form? Could the same geological forces that built the Himalayas be at work here? And today, as Iran moves to close the Strait of Hormuz, is it really nature's fault or ours? A narrow ribbon of sea that has become the world's most dangerous waterway, the Strait of Hormuz is defined not by navies but by rocks. Long before oil tankers plied these waters, plate tectonics and salt tectonics carved a jagged corridor between continents. Let us slip beneath the headlines of war and pipeline politics to explore the ancient geology and earth processes that shaped this frail, narrow gap, now shut down by decree, but still governed by much older laws of nature. This striking satellite image of the Strait of Hormuz shows it as a swirling blue channel between desert coasts. False colour highlights a late 2019 phytoplankton bloom. Each day, roughly 20 million barrels of crude oil, about 3 million cubic metres, travel through these waters, underlining the strait's outsized economic role. Yet, in geological terms, it is shallow and narrow, only 35 to 60 miles wide, roughly 60 to 95 kilometres, and just 200 to 300 feet deep, about 60 to 100 metres over most of its floor. In a sense, this shallowness has helped keep it open. With no deep sills to choke passage, the Persian Gulf's waters flush out continuously into the Arabian Sea. Salty bottom water flows out even as lighter, relatively fresh surface water pours in to replace evaporated losses. It is a classic inverse estuary circulation. The hot, arid climate makes the Gulf hypersaline, so a perpetual current carries oxygen-rich surface water down, while denser brine flows back through the strait. In other words, the Strait of Hormuz is the Gulf's natural drain pipe and breathing port. To block it, even for a short time, would upset millennia of natural flushing. Beneath this vital waterway lie the deep scars of Earth's titanic past. In fact, the story of the strait begins over 100 million years ago with the breakup of the supercontinent Gondwana. Around 120 million years ago, the Indian plate began its sprint northward from the southern hemisphere. By 55 million years ago, it crashed into Eurasia, crumpling into one of the planet's mightiest mountain belts, the Himalayas and Tibetan Plateau. But the effects did not stop there. The collision zone sent shockwaves across Asia. It shoved the Arabian plate toward Iran and lifted up the Zagros and Oman mountain ranges. Geologists have reconstructed this saga as India closed the Tethys Ocean. Arabian collided earlier or in parallel with Eurasia, sinking its oceanic crust under Iran and raising the Makran coastal range. Eventually, the far end of the Arabian plate, the Musandam Peninsula, now part of Oman, rammed into the soft underbelly of the southern Zagros Mountains. The result was a geologic fracture. The proud limestone peaks of Musandam were suddenly rent apart, with their flanks splintered along faults and fractures. Today, the Musandam highlands are literally sinking on their leading edge. As the Arabian plate slides under Iran, it is uplifting Iran's mountains and causing the Musandam peaks to tilt and subside. The highest ridges of the peninsula remain as rocky islands, but the valleys between them have collapsed hundreds of feet below sea level, roughly several hundred feet, or about 100 meters below sea level. In effect, the sea rushed in to replace what was lost. The higher elevation mountains remain above the water, but the sea has rushed in to fill the valleys with fingers of water. In plan view, those flooded valleys become the strait's fjord-like channels. In short, one of nature's tug-of-wars has forged the channel that ships now traverse. The submerged architecture is unusual. Just offshore of Hormuz, the seafloor is crisscrossed by great subterranean salt structures. During the late Proterozoic, roughly 600 million years ago, enormous evaporate deposits formed here, known today as the Hormuz Formation. These rock salts and gypsum layers were buried under later sediments, but plate forces have since warped and pierced them like balloons. The Persian Gulf basin today is warped and pierced by numerous salt diapirs of the basal Hormuz series. In other words, huge salt pillows and domes bulge up from the sea floor. Some of them even break the surface. Islands like Hormuz are capped by the same salty geology. On Keshem Island, the dome-shaped Namakdan salt body in the southwest has been pushed skyward by millennia of salt flow. This is no minor detail. Namakdan is one of the world's largest salt diapirs, a geological bulge over 6 kilometers in length, about 3 7/10 miles, and it holds one of Earth's longest salt caves. A view inside the Namakdan Salt Cave on Keshem reveals delicate salt formations that grow and dissolve in mere years. The rock here is not limestone, but pure salt and anhydrite, relics of an ancient sea. Geologists report that as the Namakdan diapir rose, it brought with it blocks of marble, dolomite and other sediments, an exotic mix of rocks caught up in salt flow. Over time, groundwater has carved tunnels and halls within the salt. In fact, parts of this cave system total about 6,500 meters, roughly 4 miles, making it the longest known salt cave on Earth. Light and fresh water entering cracks can rapidly dissolve salt, so the cave passages evolve on human timescales. The surrounding terrain is carpeted with hummocks and domes of stratified salt, a hallucinatory landscape that would vanish entirely if the salt were removed. In many places around the strait, even under the sea, the lakebed is not solid rock at all, but a thick mush of ancient evaporates. Those salt layers serve as lubricants in the crust. In plate terms, they form the decollement horizon of the Zagros Fold and thrust belt. In simpler words, the salt smoothly shears as mountains grow, influencing everything from earthquake fault angles to the shape of oil traps. It is no accident that this salt-rich geology also coincides with oil and gas fields. Petroleum often accumulates atop or around ancient salt layers. Earthquakes are a constant reminder of these forces. The strait sits astride one of the world's most active plate boundaries, the collision zone of Arabia and Eurasia. Faults trend across the region. The Zagros fault system runs along Iran's shores, and in the Gulf itself, even the Kasserun fault system is thought to reach underwater. Seismologists note that seismic activity in the Persian Gulf is high due to these boundaries. In the last half-century alone, magnitude 6 earthquakes have struck on or near both sides of Hormuz. Destructive quakes rattled Iran's Hormozgan province, including Keshem Island, in 2005 and 2008, and similar shocks have hit the Musandam shorelines of Oman. Each tremor reminds geologists that the Arabian Plate still pushes northward a few centimeters per year, festering strain. Beneath the waves, the thin Persian Gulf floor can also amplify shaking. And although the Gulf is shallow, on average only about 36 meters deep, roughly 118 feet, undersea landslides triggered by quakes on these salt slopes could, in theory, send small tsunami waves along the shores, as hinted by historical reports around the year 1008. In short, the strait's danger is partly geological. It is a slender, watery battleground poised above a string of seismic hotpoints. All of this geology helps explain why the Strait of Hormuz is considered so precarious today. The sea itself has no iron fortress depth to resist a blockade, nor high cliffs to command it from above. Instead, it is an exposed corridor defined by shallow bedrock and treacherous shoals. At high tide, it flushes freely, but at low tide, the ledges of those submarine salt mountains nearly protrude into the lanes. Cargo ships must thread through narrow channels flanked by reefs and rocks. In calm weather, this is routine, but under conflict, any mine or torpedo hits bedrock too easily. Likewise, if the strait were to be physically barricaded, for example with nets, rubble barriers or drifting platforms, the shallow depth and narrow width mean the blocked waters behind it would stagnate quickly. Remember, the Persian Gulf is essentially a closed basin. Without the normal through flow, its salinity would creep upward and oxygen levels would drop, causing ecological consequences. Today, amid a sudden war crisis, Iran has declared the strait closed to shipping. In the abstract, that sounds like the end of 10,000 years of geology. But physically speaking, even a powerful navy could not lay down a multi-kilometre barrier in these conditions. International law aside, the depths 60 to 100 metres, roughly 197 to 328 feet, and currents mean any blockade would be breached or bypassed within days. The true effect of such a closure is more economic than structural. To the rocks, the strait already felt closed by nature, not by nations. Nonetheless, the announcement sent shockwaves through oil markets. About 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil traverses this strait. Every tanker now rerouting lengthens the journey and risks spill or accident in the exposed Persian Gulf. In a nutshell, the dangerous Sea of Hormuz is a product of deep time, not just current events. The geological story, drifting plates, rising mountains, migrating salt, tells us why this corridor is as treacherous as it is vital. Mountains gouged by collision, salt domes bubbling upward, and an earthquake-prone framework combine to make navigation perilous even in the best of times. Even as Iran's decree makes headlines, it is Earth's ancient forces that truly govern the Strait of Hormuz. Here, beneath the hulls of every passing ship, lie the crowded ghosts of continents clashing and oceans closing, shaping a passage that connects oceans and economies, yet rests on the knife edge of tectonics. The war may change who holds the course, but the geology remains relentless, a silent, unfolding drama of crust and salt that will long outlast any political crisis. All right, geology legends, before you drift away like a tectonic plate at 3 centimetres per year, do me a solid. If this deep dive into shifting plates, rising mountains, and salty underground chaos rocked your world even a little, gently nudge that like button. No fault displacement required. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next time the Earth decides to flex. And tap that hype icon like you're triggering a controlled scientific reaction, because the more hype you send, the more this video spreads across the algorithmic ocean. No tsunamis, no aftershocks, just pure, high-grade Earth science energy. Let's move this video further than the Arabian Plate moves in a year.